I talked a little bit in my last video about the law of attraction, but this time I just wanted to go a bit deeper. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how I should share my thoughts with you. Like, should I talk as if I'm the wise person who gives advice? Or should I just be myself? Someone who's learning, someone who's discovering and figuring life out day by day. And I realized I don't like that culture version of me. I just don't like it. I just want to be real. To share what I'm actually living, the things that make me question everything around me, because I'm that type of person. For example, I keep hearing everywhere like things like the universe is giving you signs, the universe is testing you, the universe is manifesting with you, and if you pass the test, your manifestations will come your way fast. And I used to believe that, like, okay, maybe it's true, why not? But when I started to actually observe and reflect, I realized the meaning isn't completely wrong. It's just that one word, the universe. It's in the wrong place. Because the one who truly plans, the one who tests us, the one who always sends those signs from the beginning isn't the universe, it's God. And every Muslim on this planet knows this very well, right? He's the one who arranges things. He's the one who makes you go through certain experiences so you can learn. He's the one who sends the right message at the exact right time through a situation, a feeling, or even a simple word that hits your heart suddenly, right? And when you start to see things from that perspective, you realize that nothing is random and everything around you is happening with such perfect timing. So from now on, I just want to start sharing with you the things I've actually learned, but not just by talking about them. I want to show you through real experiences I've lived. You know, because sometimes words don't prove much. But when something happens in your life that reflects exactly what you've been hearing or believing, you start to see the truth behind those so-called laws of life. And that's what I want to do. To take the things I've been hearing or I've been actually hearing in all these videos and connect them with what I've actually experienced and what I've felt, what opened my eyes and what changed me. That's where the real understanding begins, not in what we read or repeat, but in what we actually live and what life itself tries to teach us one moment at a time. Sometimes before life gives you a new chapter, God starts sending you little signs, like quiet ones. They aren't loud. They don't always make sense at first. But if you slow down, you realize that has been preparing you all along. Hey guys, it's me Nurhan Al Haddad. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to talk about the first sign that God sends us to deliver a message. So let's dive into it. One of the most powerful signs is what I call the glimpse and removal. Sometimes God gives you a glimpse of something you've been praying for, and then suddenly it's gone. Did this happen to you before? Because it happened to me a lot. It's confusing and painful. But I realized it's also one of the clearest signs that has tested you before your readiness, before giving you what you asked for. And I want to share something personal about this with you. For the past 4 years, my life has honestly felt like a curve, but going down. I've tried so many projects and all of them failed. But a few months ago, I decided to try again, and I did. I started preparing myself for an international job opportunity. I trained myself for weeks. I practiced, studied, really gave it my all. And then I applied for 2 opportunities, one in Arabic and one in English. And I got accepted into the Arabic one immediately. I joined to their training group and everything was like official. But the English one had 3 interviews, okay? And I passed the first 2, both online. But the third one was supposed to be face-to-face at the company's office. So I told myself, listen, if I pass this third one, I leave the Arabic job and go for this English one. Okay? Okay. Deal? Like deal. But one day before the final interview, like everything changed. It was like the whole world decided all at once that I shouldn't take the either job. Yeah, that's what happened actually. Actually, I was forced not to go to the interview for reasons I just can't mention now. Whatever. That night, I didn't sleep. I just couldn't. It was almost 5 a.m. and my mind still couldn't process what had just happened. I couldn't believe I wasn't going to the interview. I'd been preparing for so long. And I looked at the clock and thought, yeah, this is the time I was supposed to be getting ready, getting dressed, like at least leaving my house at 6 a.m. But instead, I just opened my phone and wrote an email to the HR apologizing and saying something like something urgent came up and I won't be able to attend the interview. From that day, every time I remember it, I feel this way in my chest, like a small pain that never fully goes away. But I've accepted. What should I do? It is what it is, right? But the hardest part was not having anyone close enough to comfort me or at least to understand me. And I guess I'm the reason I ended up this way, because I'm that type of person who prefers being alone or all the time or just being surrounded by small circles. Because whenever I tried to talk about what upset me, I ended up feeling worse, and I don't know why. Either the person made me overthink or they said something that made me regret opening up in the first place. So I reached a point where sharing my feelings didn't feel like an option anymore. And it was a great decision actually. Because most people, if not all, they don't really listen to understand you. They listen out of curiosity or jealousy or just to see how your life's going. Some want to know if you've become better than them or if you are still stuck, still struggling just like before. And others listen to just judge you, to say things like, see, she didn't get anywhere yet after all. There are even people who listen to you just to secretly hope things go wrong for you. And this is the worst case ever. The rare case, the very rare one, is when someone checks on you just to make sure you are okay. And the truth is almost no one really cares about you or even about your miserable life. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's why I decided to stop talking to people and started talking more to God, the only one who truly listens, the only one who always understands you, the only one who never judges, and the most important part, that He's the only one who knows very well your intentions without explaining. And ever since I made that decision, every time I turn to God, I end up finding an answer. Not always the one I want, but always the one I need. And what proved that to me wasn't just what I'm about to say right now, but it was the only thing I always refused to focus on. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't even notice what I was talented at. So I kept forcing myself to focus on so many different things, so many other things instead, And yet, God kept sending me signs through every single thing I tried to do, every job opportunity, every project I started. And it had to fail before it even began, and I always ended up leaving it behind. And that wasn't because I had no determination or something. Because if I didn't have, I don't think I wouldn't have kept trying so many different things. So that's why I say every time I turn to God, He always gives me an answer. Not always the one I want, but always the one I need, as I said. But this time, especially this time, I felt like He was trying so hard to guide me towards something I might actually be great at. Some time ago, I was praying and I said, God, I just want to understand why. There is something wrong, but I just can't figure out what it is. Why does it feel like every effort I make ends up going nowhere? And why does every opportunity slip away right before the final step? I just want to understand why, seriously. So please give me a sign. And I swear right after I finished praying, I picked up my phone, it was charging, and I saw a notification. Someone had just followed me on TikTok. And I opened their profile without thinking. And their bio, it said, there is no such a thing as a missed opportunity. Everything you lost wasn't meant for you. And I smiled. I was like, what? What do you mean? Because, before those two jobs, I had already prepared my passport and I was about to book my flight ticket. And it all got cancelled too. So when I saw that bio, I kept reading it over and over and over again. Like, I started thinking back on everything I tried to do that got cancelled at the very last step. And I thought to myself, like, wait, what did I just pray to God about? What I said to Him? Because I once read a post that said, be careful what you tell God when you pray, because He listens. And in some way, He always responds. But the problem is, we are not always focused enough to notice. And that hit me. Because you remember what I said when I was praying? I said, God, please help me. I just want to understand why. I feel like there is something wrong, but I just can't figure out what it is. Why does it feel like every effort I make ends up going nowhere? And why does every opportunity slip away right before the final step? So please give me a sign. So I started thinking back on everything I've been through in the last 4 years, maybe more. And I realized something. I realized that I kept applying to so many jobs. Every few months, a new one. And I never realized that the whole idea of a job didn't fit my personality at all. I mean, I'm not a 9-to-5 type of person. I've tried it more than once, but every single time I could feel I wasn't happy living that way. But I still kept trying so hard for years just to find a good job. But when I started to look deeper within myself, I noticed that I only enjoy working for myself. So I told myself, like, listen, if I get a job right now, I'll have a boss. Seriously, strict working hours. I'll lose money if I make a mistake. I'll spend 8 hours every single day working for a fixed salary. Right? So why don't I just work hard on what I'm talented at? Why not? And that's it. That's the whole idea of this video. Because sometimes, because of distractions, because you don't really know yourself yet, you end up choosing paths that don't really match who you are at all. And that's why God doesn't always give us what we want, because sometimes what we want can actually destroy our soul. So for me, a 9 to 5 job is a soul destroying, and I say that because I've lived it. So the one thing I finally realized, and I thank God every day, every single day that I did, even if it took me so long, that is that I truly love writing. Not just in writing, like scripts, articles, expressing my ideas, expressing my thoughts, and I decided to share them with you guys through a YouTube channel. And maybe that's what God's been trying to show me all along. But I still kept insisting on so many other things instead. The whole point is you can be doing everything right. You can be thinking positive. You can be working hard. You can be believing in yourself. And still, what you are trying for doesn't work out. Not because you feel the law of attraction, as everyone says, but because God is preparing you through real experiences that will eventually lead you to discover what's really meant for you. And once you get there, you realize that all those delays were actually lessons that made you stronger, more grounded, and ready for the next stage of your life. And if you pay a little attention, you'll notice that every prayer you make starts showing up little by little, like step by step. But only if you remember what you prayed for and stay focused on it. That's when you'll start to see everything unfold faster.